Hey everybody, welcome to the tour of Zenler session number 10. Hooray, we're in double digits. How awesome is that? Just let me know that you can hear me okay and you can see everything. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. Lovely to see you all. All is good. Thank you very much. I've got David here with us in today's session. So that's awesome. David, where are you? There he is.
Hello, good to see you.
So David's going to be looking after you guys in the chat as we go through this. It's going to be not quite such a long session, this particular one, but we're going to have an interesting Q&A bit at the end as well. So let's get settled in. If you do have questions, then do ask them as we go along. That will be absolutely amazing. Avil's here, so the gang's all here. That's awesome. Really, really good. Okay, so. Yeah, David's going to look after the chat. He's going to pin this and everyone here and all of that stuff. And we're going to get straight on into what we're here to do. So, are you all ready? Hopefully, you are. Let's get ready to rumble, as they say. Here we go. Okie doke. So, I'm going to turn me off because you all know what I look like. So here we are, the Tour of Xenia session number 11, and what an amazing workshop it's been. The feedback has been phenomenal. The effort people have put in outside of the live sessions and the support we've had in the live sessions has been absolutely outstanding. And to me, that just shows the absolute desire for people that are using this platform or have just recently found this platform to really want to make the best of how it operates for their business, because these workshops are for you. They're not for us here at Zenler, they're for you to get the most out of using this platform efficiently. The more you use it, the better you get at it, the more you serve your customers and your students, and the more money you earn. So it's a really simple equation to go through. So we're on session 10. So let's have a quick recap because a lot of people have been with us throughout all of this. So session number one, we looked at the dashboard and menus. And just as a reminder, the replays are now on the replay page. So please don't share the link directly to the replay page. We want people to come and sign up into the funnel. The top comment that's pinned, if you're on Facebook, is where you can sign up. It's already there for you. So if you've not yet signed up, do go and sign up. It's so, I can't express how important it is now. Now Facebook are doing their whole we're going to delete lives after 30 days thing. Before we could just leave them all in featured. We can't do that anymore because they're all going to disappear. So the best place for you to be is to come in, get the replay page. All of the videos are going to be there and you'll have access ongoing for this. So you don't have to worry about it disappearing. So go and sign up over there. So session one, we looked at dashboard and menus. I took you through that. It was a great session, navigating around the platform, how it all works, dispelling the overwhelm of menu, sub-menu, sub-menu and all of that stuff, and some of the analytics that we get displayed throughout the dashboard. Then we looked at the page builder. David took us through that. It's a core part of the Zenler platform, understanding how and where it operates, how the blocks work, how's a drag and drop editor work, how can we optimize for mobile and all of those things. That out of every training I think we've ever done, that's one I would suggest to everybody they go through, because we need to understand the basics of how that page editor works to make anything work, whether we're doing a live, whether we're doing a webinar, whether we're doing we're putting a course together, we're doing a funnel together, we're doing pages. It all comes into it. So it's really, really important. Live three, we looked at pages, system built pages. One's how we can create and duplicate pages, start to craft together some semblance of a website, and looking at the blogging area. So the blog page, so where the blog roll goes, where all the blog post snippets are put, and then actually the blog posts themselves, how we can enter in what we want to do in those, all the different elements, and then of course how we can use the inbuilt tools in Zenler for SEO purposes to get that out there, and the social sharing stuff and all of that. So that was session number 3. It feels so long ago. Session 4, we looked at the 5 live areas. So obviously we use Zoom. That's what we're on right now. We're using the Zenler platform for this workshop. So we have 5 live areas that you can get involved in. The 2 webinar ones, the live class, the live stream and the one-to-one. So looking at what they mean, how you can use them for yourself, your own business, and also for your students. And then we took 2 sessions to look at courses. The first session was the bones of it. How do we make a course? What happens when we hit that create course button? How do we add pricing in and all of those wonderful things? And then looking at some of the other components to do with the course area. And then live 6 was everything that goes in a course. So any component, whether you want a flip book, a PDF, a download, a live stream into a class, whatever it is that you want. So we looked at those over those 2 sessions. Then we were back onto marketing funnels, so lead funnels and video funnels, how they operate, how you can use them slightly differently to deliver different things. It was a really eye-opening session that if you're not using marketing funnels, it's very good the way that you can adapt it to serve a purpose for you and for your business. So that was a really good session. Then we had live session number 8, where we looked at communities, big feature update recently, and there's still updates coming through. We just literally today heard about another update that's going to be released very, very soon. Can't tell you what it is, so don't ask, but we're really pumping out the updates and improvements on the new community area. So it's a great time to look at that. Rakesh took us through that. To understand how we can nurture people through. We can also use communities to generate new interest in what we're doing with our open communities that are actually found in the search engines. So that was if that's something you're thinking about, you're thinking Facebook's not for you, it's becoming too difficult, then communities is something that you might want to go and dip your toe into and have a look. And then we had live session number 9 with Mamie, and she took us through emails. So broadcasts, automation, system emails, all of those things, where we can find them all, how we can use them, the importance of tagging and how that can be used with the filtering aspects of what we're doing on there. I think it really opens some eyes up to the possibilities of the email system that's available. You can either use Zenler Mail, you can use your own email, however you want to do it. And we went through all of that in live session number 9, which takes us to today, and it's our penultimate session. So we've got one more after this. So today is all about support, and we're going to be diving quite deep into the areas of support that we provide for our users, for people that are interested in Zenler, that want to get to use it more. And I think that's ultimately one of the biggest goals for Zenler. Is there's lots of platforms out there that can provide a service similar to what Zenler offers. I don't know of a platform that provides the level of support that Zenler offers. And we're quite unique in the fact that I think we split it almost into 2 in the type of support that we offer. So let me explain what I mean by that. So let me just stop sharing this for a minute. So often with a lot of softwares, you will just get a support line. So a support email or a support chat or whatever it is. And the person on the end of that will be expected to just deal with everything and anything that comes in. And Zenler was very similar in its earlier days. That's how it operated. And then a decision was made, and this was how David and I originally got involved in this, that Zenler was going to go, actually, we have skilled technical people that deal with all of the coding stuff and all of that stuff that are answering questions on how do I do this? How do I start a live class? How do I do this? Which is a usability question. It's not a technical question. So the decision was made to bring in, we actually named it as the education team, because we're here to educate people on using the platform for their ease, for their use. And we would then segregate out the technical support. So there would be 2 very defined routes to getting support from Zenler. And I think we've pretty much nailed that over the last 4 or 5 years. We've sort of got really clear ourselves as well as to where the line is between this is a technical support question, this is a usability educational support question. And although we don't have the education team don't have a direct email us here for your education things, we ask you to do it in different ways. And that's what I'm going to be going through in today's workshop. It's just looking at the differences between the two, when you would use each one, and where you can find those resources. So is all of that making sense for everybody? I sometimes cross over. Oh, that's you, David. So support is awesome. Education tutorials are the best. Yes, 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 yes. Right. Okay.
They love it.
Good. Right. Let's get into this then, because I want to get you all on screen so you can start asking your questions. So I'm going to share my screen again. And what we're going to do is we are going to firstly look at, I'm going to turn me off because again, you don't need to know what I look like, you know. So we're going to look at the tutorial site. So the tutorial site is the hub for everything we do predominantly educational wise. So if there's something you need to learn, if there's something that you're stuck on, if there's you want to learn how to create your first course, or you're not understanding funnels, or you want to put together some sort of sequence and you're not quite sure how that's going to work, or anything like that, then this is where you need to be. Now, this has been revamped recently, so it looks a little bit different, but there's this, I say go here first because this has links to everything. And this is why it's so important to be here. Now, you don't need to have a separate account for this. You can just sign up with your normal account to get into here and you'll get access to all of the things that you need. Now, everything here, and this is really important, is we don't charge for any of it. So all of the information that we pass over to you, all of the trainings that we do, all of the workshops that we do, all of those things are absolutely free of charge. Now, that might sound quite normal, but let me just break that down a little bit. So most companies will go, here's all the free stuff on how to use the system. So that would be the complete guide to Zenler. Most hands up if you're familiar with the complete guide to Zenler. Right, give me a thumbs up. And you know how to access it. So most companies would have that available. What most companies wouldn't have available for free, and I've seen this recently in some really good examples, is all of the other trainings that we've provided over the years. So things like doing the blogging challenge, doing the marketing workshop, going through, we did an email workshop, we did a funnel workshop, we did all of these extras, which is sort of out of the remit of the platform in how to use it, but it's sort of their marketing things, but we show you how to use it within the platform. So here's some ideas on how to create these blog posts. Let's go through each one and why and SEO and all that. And now go and put it into the Zenler platform. Most companies charge for that, but we don't. We include that in the resources that we've built over time for you, and you can still access all of those. So when we look on and I'm logged in here, by the way. So if you're not logged into the tutorial site, it'll probably look a little different for you. So the tutorials.newzenler.com. And as we go through this, I'm just going to ask David if he can put the links for these on Facebook and in Zoom as well, please, if that's okay.
Will do.
Just so you've got access to all of it, because there are some key areas that we're going to cover here. So the home page of the tutorial site is really important. Now, we do have our menus along the top here. We've got our training, so workshop training and our resources, and we're going to come to those in a minute. We've got our live support. So as you know, we run the live support desk on a Thursday at 4 p.m. GMT for 2 hours, where we have an educator there for 2 hours, normally man-meet, who just sits there and helps people. And that's where you can access that. So if you click on there, it will take you through to how you can go off and get involved in that and what the schedule is. We have a demo of Zenler. So these are live sessions that we're running every single week free of charge. Now, we used to talk about this a lot. Now, the demo of Zenler isn't so much for you as a user, because at that point you've sort of know what Zenler's about and you're already in there, so you know it. What that is in particular for is for our partners. So for our partners to say, well, I don't need to tell you too much about what Zenler can do. Jump onto one of those, and one of the education teams and will guide you through exactly what this platform's about. So that's what they were always intended for. And they're now running small groups of people, sort of 3 to 5 people, and they're running every single week. So people can go on there. Now, if you have upgraded, there is obviously the option to go into a pro or premium. If you're upgraded to pro or premium, you can go into the other, not the demo, the David, remind me what it's called. I've gone blank.
Onboarding.
Onboarding, that's the one. Thank you. So you can go on to the onboarding, which is a one-to-one session. Now, the purpose of the onboarding is that we take you through all of the features that you now have access to as a paid for member. So lots of people come from a free account and they've got restricted access, and then they go into a paid account, but they don't always know everything that they have access to. So we tend to take people to, on a one-to-one basis, quickly what they've got upgraded to, and then if there's time for questions at the end that are specific to that, then we can help you out with that. And they're available free of charge as well. We have our blog and we have our own community as well on the Zenler community, believe it or not. So that starts to navigate you around the tutorial site. So as you go down the page, you'll see that there are jump links here that will take you to different places. So this will take you through the training library for the different things that we've done over time. We've got a link here for our YouTube channel. We're going to look at that in a minute. Here's our one-to-one onboarding session. I should have gone down the page and I would have remembered the word. And just as importantly, here's the app. Okay. So this is for you to be able to get the links. If you don't know where the link is, rather than saying to your students, and this is just a bit of an extra for you, you know, where's the link for that? You can just grab it off there and then send it directly to them. We said when this first came out, the Zenler app, that everybody should have those links on their sites. So on their logged in page sites. So for when people have got involved with your courses, so people can download it and watch the courses and now get involved in the communities via the apps. So they're really important. Now, so the tutorial site, really, really good. That's the hub of everything, right? Everything is linked out from here. All of our social channels are linked from here. Everything that you want, you will find predominantly from this homepage. So what else do we have that's going to help you get the support that you need? So let's go over to our support.newzenler.com site. So it's linked from the tutorial site anyway. I've just jumped it around. So over here we have our support docs. So they're similar to the way that the complete guide to Zenler work, but different as well. So often there's information here that you might not find. It's not set up in the same way. It's not set up as a course, whereas it is within the tutorial site. So over here, people do find sometimes they can find an answer a little bit quicker at times. But the nice thing over here as well is that if you're stuck and you're looking for a more technical side of an answer that you can't find, as in, I've gone through all of the tutorials, I've gone through all of the training, I've gone in the Facebook group and asked, and nobody's come up with a solution for me, then this is where you can get some technical support. So this is where it starts flipping over between the educational side and the technical side. So far we've looked at all of the stuff on the tutorial site has been educational. As soon as we open this one here that says support ticket, that then becomes a technical question. So if we just click on that and have a look, and we click on get technical help. Now, this is a really nice one to go and look at. If you've not yet looked at this, and I'm sure most of you haven't, most of you have probably bookmarked this email address and gone, every time I've got a problem, I'm just going to go and email them because I've listened to office hours and they say, emailing support@zenler.com and you get your ticket and and that's all great. And I'm just going to go off and do that. And that is one way of doing it. But the thing is, there's different ways to do this. So we have two ways of actually connecting with the tech support people, but we also have some basic things that we can do before you contact them. So if we just click here, we've put together a few basic steps to try out before when you're just on that cusp of going, I'm frustrated, it's not working, I can't make what I want to happen, right? Just before you do that, you should click on this page. Okay. And what this will do is it will go through with you some of the most common issues that we've found over the years that people get to that stage, it's not working. And these have been some of the answers that the tech support people have helped people with, that actually, if they'd have just done this before, they wouldn't have needed to put a support ticket in. So things like browser related issues, it goes through how to test. There's a video here, checking your site, clearing the cache, going into incognito mode, all of these things that we banter these words around, and people sit there and their eyes glaze over and go, hang on a minute, you know, I paint waterfalls for a living. I don't know what any of this stuff is, and that's okay, right? It doesn't matter if you know or you don't know. It's our job to help you know. Okay. So this is why we put this stuff here. And I think sometimes we take it for granted that people do know what all of these things mean, when actually some people just don't. They're just here because they want to teach stuff in the easiest way possible. And it's absolutely the right platform to do that, which is why we've put this together. So before you hit the I need technical support, you've gone through all of the training stuff, you've learned as much as you can, you're still frustrated, you just try these couple of little things out. Okay. So very, very basic, checking your internet speed, all of these things like that, which some of these will really help you solve a problem quite quickly. I think the browser issue is probably the single most common thing where people get issues. And we've had it on live trainings before. This isn't working for us, David. I've done exactly what you've said and it's not right. David replies, what are you using? I'm sitting here on my laptop. Okay, where are you on the laptop? Oh, I'm sitting by the beach. Okay, have you got a hard line into it? No, I'm on a really dodgy Wi-Fi. Okay, and what browser are you using? I'm on Safari. Okay, you need to go in, stick a wire into your laptop, go onto Chrome, and then let us know if it works. 20 minutes later, oh, David, it all works now. And the conversations really do happen that way. So I'm not saying that's always the case, but what I'm saying is a large proportion of it is about just checking some of the basics and understanding this. And when you've been through this once, you won't need to go through it again, because it will be ingrained into your mind, like, I have to do this and that and that and that. Now, if you've gone through all of that and it doesn't work, then we go back to our getting help. Now, we can absolutely send an email to the technical support people at Zenler. If stuff isn't working, we've tried everything that the education team have suggested, maybe some people in the Facebook group have suggested, then by all means, the support team are there to help you, right? It's not this really high up place that you've got to go to jump through a whole heap of hoops to get in contact with them. The reason we try and take you through a process first is because it's faster for you to solve it yourself than it is to put a request in with the support team. Okay, that's why we do it, because we want to keep you moving quicker. But if you can't do it, by all means, you email the support team, or you can submit a ticket, which comes up here. So if you don't have access directly to your email system, some people don't. If you're on a phone or whatever it might be, or a different computer, you might not have access to your email, so you can't send one right there. But you can send a request here via this form as well. So, and they both do the same thing and they both go to the same place. So that's really quite cool. Now, when you submit your technical request, there's only a couple of things that you really need to do. And if you follow the form through here, actually, this is a really great way of doing it, because it sort of shows you what you need to put in. Whereas if you just send an email, you've got to remember what to put in. So obviously this is going to be your email and the subject line and what you're looking for help with. It says a detailed description, but what's actually really important here is a couple of other things, which is one, your Zenler site URL. So whatever.newzenler.com, whatever it is, okay, or if you've got a custom URL, put that one in, they'll find it. But also the screen recording of what your problem is. So we ask for that because it's, if there's a technical issue and you try and describe it in your words, how many times have you written an email or you've typed a message up somewhere and you've meant one thing and somebody else has interpreted as something else? It happens all of the time. It's the biggest problem that copywriters have, is trying to break down that barrier of language so everybody understands what it is you're trying to say. And when people put in technical support questions, the same thing happens when we rely on text only. If we just say, just describe the problem, then you will make assumptions, you'll miss detail that might be important. So we always ask for a Loom recording, a video recording, screen recording. You don't have to use Loom. We say Loom because it's free. But if you've got access to any type of screen and audio recording system, then do a recording of what's going on and sit there, and you have to go through the same process. So the process is quite clear. Hi, I'm trying to achieve this. I'm trying to launch my first course. I'm on a Chrome browser. I've checked my internet speed. It's all good. Everything's cleared. I'm clicking this. I'm clicking that. Here's what I'm doing. And this is what I'm getting. And if an error's throwing up or whatever it is, you can show it to them there and then. Now that takes probably about 30 seconds. Trying to write all of that down in detail will probably take you about 10 minutes. And trying to recreate it will probably take even longer for the tech team. So your video saves time. Saving time means we get through the list quicker, which means everybody gets served faster, which is our goal, right? We want to help people as fast as we can. And as I said a little while ago, our process is to help you not have to contact tech support, because if it's a user issue, as in an educational issue, we try and get you educated before it gets to a tech support question. When the education team was set up, the technical support team were really, really stretched because they were being given so many educational questions on a daily basis, because there was no resource. There was no complete guide to Zenler. There was no effort. There was a bit on YouTube and there was a few bits here and there, but it was nowhere near as comprehensive as it is right now. There certainly wasn't a big team involved in trying to help everybody out either, or answering questions and all of that stuff. So the tech people were overwhelmed with the amount of education questions coming in. And part of our role when we got involved here was, we need a way, some way, however, and we were sort of left to discuss and work that out, to stop educational questions coming into tech support, so tech support can deal with only tech issues and get the whole line moving a lot quicker. So that's what we did. That's when the tutorial site really came into its own and the complete guide came in. The YouTube channel really started building up, and all of the workshops, and that started to become a big thing within the educational team, because we found the more we got people involved, the less educational questions were coming in. And that's still true now. The educational questions going into tech support are minimal. It's normally from new users that haven't understood or found some of these resources, which is why this session today is actually really important, because it shows new people where everything is. So once you've done your video, you've attached it and all of that, and you hit submit, or you've gone directly from your email and you've took their email, wherever it's gone, this one, support@zenler.com, and you've sent that off, you get a ticket number come back, which means it's a bit like waiting at the deli counter and you pull a ticket and then they call your number. Well, we do that virtually, as in you get your ticket, we send you a ticket back, then you wait your turn. And when at that time, you won't know how many people are in front of you. It's a queued system. And then they'll just come back to you as soon as they possibly can when it's your next in line. And they're pretty fast, to be fair. Generally speaking, they're pretty quick. If we have lots of feature releases, it can slow down slightly because, again, with something big and new, we get quite a lot of educational questions come in because we can't get that information over to people quick enough, even though we try. So it does slow down slightly then, but not a lot, to be fair. So that's the technical support side. That's how you get access to the technical support team. So we've been through that. I'm just going to shut these down because we don't need those. Now, as far as education goes, we've still got two really, really good areas that we've not even looked at yet. So we've looked at the tutorial site, and I'm not going to go through every single page on the tutorial site. It's really down to you to go over there and go in here, go and log in, start looking around, and just getting involved in some of the areas. So going, clicking in here, look at the training libraries that we've got and go and get involved with that. You'll also see the complete guide to Zenler in there, and you'll also see our blog that's there. So our blog does have other information. It's not necessarily so much a training area for you to understand stuff, but it's got useful information in there. The last thing that I really want to point out on the tutorial site, and this is where we're sort of heading at the moment, is the community area. So if we just click on that, it's going slow because I work my PC like a dog. I beat it around the field every single day. So yours will be much quicker. So we've talked a lot about communities and how we use communities and what we're doing. Well, we're actually here at Zenler in the tutorial, in the education department, in the tutorials area, we've actually got our communities here that are up and running. Now, how many of you are actually in, and I know some of you are, so you can put your hands up. How many of you are actually in one of these communities, actively going in there and using it? Because here's the thing, when we use something and we use it that somebody else is running, we get to not only experience it as a student, but we also understand its capabilities and we can ask stuff there as well. So I say this all the time. How did we set up the tour of Zenler? We did it as a funnel. Right, you lot have all gone through that funnel. If you like how the experience of how you've gone through that, it might be something that you want to set up for your students to go through. And we've done workshops on this where people have said, oh, really like how you've done that. How do you do it? David's OBS training. David, I really like how you float around the screen like a headless man, right? Okay, I'll do a workshop on it, right? And he did a workshop on it. So, you know, that's a lot of the time by experiencing, that's how you get to understand it a bit more. And therefore you go off and use it and explore it and start to use it for your own business. And remember at Zenler, I would say, I'm going to be generous here and say 98% of everything we do is a native Zenler tool. There are a couple of minor exceptions, things like we still use Searchy for the complete guide to Zenler just because it's so big and to help people find their way around. But there's rarely anything else that we use outside of the tools built within Zenler to run the whole thing. So go and have a look over here. Look at some of these communities that we've got. Go and join them and jump in. So you can see Rakesh has posted here, new feature here. Few comments have gone on here. Okay, you can start to see, add gifts in, go and play with it. But you'll also find that there's useful information in here because where there's a community and there's a community that's focused, so grow your community, and then we've got the complete guide to Zenler one here. So if you've got a question on the complete guide to Zenler, which is pretty much everything, you can go in and ask there, just like Fiona's done here, asking about surveys. Okay, and look, David's replied back. That's nice of him. I'll give him a little like for doing that. He's quite good like that. So that does look so nice. I like this. Anyway, going off topic. Go and have a play with that because that's an area, and you can search in here as well. Maybe you're not finding the answer elsewhere, but this is somewhere you can go. So that's the tutorial site. Now we're in our Facebook community. And in our Facebook community, here we are right now. We have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of content within this group. I mean, it's been going a long time. We've got nearly 10,000 members in here, and there's a lot happening in here. Now, if you go back and try and find what you're looking for in here, you'll probably be here forever. We use the featured area because that's stuff that as an education team, we think is important. So if you just go through it, you'll see, look, new features in the community. So from a support point of view, if you want to come in and find out quickly what's gone new that's important within the Facebook group, then you can just go over here. And we've got this in the Zenler community as well. We've got the featured area there. So remember that. So you can just go through here and then jump on any of the ones that you go, yeah, they look quite good. Okay. You've also got a search bar in here, so you can search and find. So if you've got a specific question you want the answer to, you can go in here and do a search. And then when you do that, hopefully you'll get an answer. Now, the only thing I would say specifically within the Facebook group is look at the date of the answer, because sometimes you get an answer. So let me give you an example on this. Setting up a custom domain used to be a massive pain in the backside. You had to go off, you had to put a request in, they had to do stuff, and then they had to do and send it back before you could activate stuff. It was quite a bit of a drawn out process. Nowadays, you just put it in, click update, boom, you're done. It's really easy. So if you're looking for how do I put a custom domain name on a Zenler school, and you look in here, you'll get all of the answers. And some of them will now be out of date. Now, we're not going to go back through and delete everybody's posts out because that's just can't do it. It's too much. So just be careful on the dates with the answers that you get and the source that give you the answer. There's a lot of members in here that are really experienced, that will give you advice and help you with different ways round of doing stuff that may, there's many ways to achieve the same objective. We say this quite frequently. So although in the complete guide, we go through all of this, you might go, actually, I want to set up, like we're doing a training. Well, I could set it up as a course, or I could set it up as in a community, or I could set it up as a funnel, or I could set it up as a sequence of blog posts, or I could set it up as a sequence of email. We're not going to cover all of those within the complete guide to Zenler. But if you come in here and ask a question or search for it in here, then you might get different opinions of people that are doing it slightly differently using the same tool that you have access to. So it's a really good way of getting that extra level of support for what you're trying to achieve. And then you can work out, well, what buttons do I press by going through the complete guide to Zenler once you know what you're trying to get from it. So the Facebook group's really, really good. And that'll bring me on to my last area that I'm going to cover. And then I'm going to switch back on and jump back into the group, which of course is YouTube. Now, we've always said with the YouTube channel, and we've worked really hard on this over the years, to put in a lot of information in here. You can see 1.8, so 1,800 K of videos have gone in there. So that's a lot, right? This works as its own search engine. So although we have, when you come into the home page, you'll see the most important one, of course, is the new feature releases by date of release. Right, so we've got all of that here. Bulk coupons was the most recent one. I think we need to add in, we'll probably do it as a joint one, some of the little ones that have gone in for the community. Maybe, I'm not sure. But generally, if they're of something of note, they go in here. Okay. So that was the new Zenler branding, etc., etc. And we've got some testimonials there because obviously this is public facing, so it's not just Zenler users have access to this. We can be found here as well. We've got the vlog there, and we've got our shorts that are running as well. But that isn't all of the videos we've got here. So if we go in and we do, for example, a search on blog, you can see we're suddenly getting all of these other videos coming up. They're all built by us, right? You can see Zenler, right? Zenler. Now, most of these are bang up to date. Again, I would just watch the date of posting. Things like this will not have changed. Editing the blog, it won't have changed. They're exactly the same as they are now. So that was 4 years ago the blog came out. Look at that. Wow. Um, that just astonishes me. It feels like a couple of years ago. So there's a lot of information here. There's one here 5 months ago. So you can find a lot of the stuff that will help you get over what you're looking for here. So it's another area that you can take yourself through that's going to educate you. Now, if there's nothing, if you can't find what you're looking for, then there are certain things that you can do. So you can always email into team@zenler.com with suggestions of, look, I'd like a tutorial on this, I can't find one. And we can simply look at that. You can always jump on office hours or on the live support desk, what we run on a Thursday, come in there and say, look, I want to training on this, I want to do this. I can't find a resource on how to learn how to do this. And we'll, of course, just like a feature request, we will do our very best to help you to create that resource for you. We're going to bring back, we used to call them Zen pop-ups. We're not calling them Zen pop-ups anymore, but the premise will be the same, where somebody comes in and asks a question in the Facebook group, and maybe it's answered or maybe it's not quite answered fully. And we're just going to pick up on that question and we're just going to do a video on it. It might be alive, it might not be alive, but it will come from the official team and go, right, that's an answer to that particular question, and then tag that person in. And we're going to start bringing those back over time as well. So look out for those. Now, I think that covers everything I need to cover for support. So we've got clearly defined educational support areas. So the tutorial site, let's say tutorial site, Facebook, YouTube, and support.newzenler, which you can find support docs. You can find those 4 areas, all linked from the tutorial site. And then, of course, we've got our, this is why and how we get technical help, which is coming either direct through support at Zenler email or via this form here, where we can submit a ticket. So hopefully that's cleared up things for you with the differences and why we work so hard to keep the education so freely available, so you don't waste your time waiting for tickets to be answered that probably some of the time you can solve yourself with maybe just a little bit of searching around. So let me stop sharing my screen. I'm coming back on. So that sort of covers everything I think we need to cover for this. So hopefully you found that useful. I may have missed this, but is there a list of Zenler communities, or are you added when you take a course? Right, we'll come into that in a minute. We'll come into questions in a minute. Right, David.
Hello, Kevin. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, so that's covering all of our main support areas, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people love them because we've got so much of it. But one thing that you need to also bear in mind, I use this a lot, and probably Kevin does as well. It's not a channel; it's Google. So if you get stuck with a question, type it in to Google and you're more than likely 99% get a video pop up that from us at Zenler that you can just click and go to. So you can use the search engines. We're all over it. This is another reason why we produce so much content, because it gets listed in search engine results. So a lot of you don't do this. I have questions literally every day and I can't remember where that video is. I just type it into Google, get the video, copy the link, put it in there. There you go. This will help you. So think about using Google, right? It's a massive help, and our YouTube channel as well. But Google's great because it jumps across everywhere. It will look at the support docs, it will look at the tutorial site, it'll also look at our YouTube channel. So it gives you that real big area of support, which will help you guys as well. So Kevin, one last thing, we talked about this before we came on, and Kevin said, yeah, let's include this bit, and it's kind of self-help. Right, it's not something we talk about a lot, but it's actually you guys helping yourselves. So we see a lot of people asking questions in the group, and if you had just tested it, or you'd have just gone in and looked at the feature itself, you would see that you can actually sort the problem out yourself. Now, why do I say this? I say it because one is, hopefully you guys have done the quick start guide, and you're not kind of, if you're trying to kind of like learn the platform on your own, it's very noble, but you're wasting a lot of time. If you take something like the quick start guide, then most of the answers are in the complete guide to Zenler. But if you've done the quick start guide, it's enough for you guys to start looking at why things aren't working. Now, if something doesn't work on your site, we get a lot of people come on the Facebook group and they put like for instance, the mail isn't going out to a couple of my users. So look, and they'll think it's a technical question, but let's face it, right? If something's wrong with your site, if something isn't working for one person, it's not going to work for everybody. So you can safely assume that it's something that you've done. Now it could be, and this is like how you kind of work it out. And why I'm talking about this now is Tracy Browning. I don't think Tracy's in. It's a bit late in the day because she's in Australia, but she actually self-helps herself. So she finds a problem and she sort of back reverses what she's done to find what the problem was. So a classic one would be like my pages are showing all over the place now. What have I done? And yet the day before you might have put some JavaScript or some code into your page, and that's messed it up. But you forget about that because we're all busy doing things. That's like, grab that pop-up code for JavaScript. It will be a nice ticker tape along the top of my site. I'll put it in there. I won't look that it's messed my whole site up, but that's the cause of it. So then you'll go to technical support and they'll go, well, you've got JavaScript in there. So that's what messed it up. So if you think, if it was working 2 days ago, what have you done in the meantime to mess it up? Okay, and it's a good way of looking at it. Another classic example, I'm going to share my screen for this one, is things like email addresses. So let me just share my screen quickly and just show you. This is a common one as well. We see this, like someone's not getting my email. So I'm like, why? So they're not getting my email. So it will be a problem. And then, but the main thing is that if you go into your students, you might find that one of your students has put Gmail instead of Gmail. Okay. So this can cause a problem. And also, to say another thing, is a lot of users go to their site. Let me just move this out of the way. Let me just preview the site. They'll preview the site inside here as admin. And the problem with this is you see everything. So they'll go in here and they'll go, oh, how come I've got community there? How come I've got a blog there? And this is because you can see everything. You're the master of this site, so it shows you everything. But if we actually go in and see what a user sees, and this is why we say test, 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 and test. This is what a user will actually see, which is what you want them to see. So you're like, why is community and blog comes up? But look, I'm actually now in incognito mode and you can see I can't see blog or community. And that's how you want the users to see it. But you're busily looking at the admin preview and seeing these, and it's like, oh no, I can't launch my site because that doesn't work. So just by doing your cross checks properly, you can solve yourself a lot of trouble. And this is what we call self-helping. So we see it a lot, really so much. And I'm looking at it and I do answer the questions. Of course I do. But I'm sometimes like, if you'd have gone in and tested that as a student, you would see that yourself. And that's why we mention the word test, like funnels. Anything you've created for this series, you should be testing first. Don't just look at it from an admin point of view and go, that works, that's good, and leave it. I test everything, and I've been doing this stuff for years. And same with Kevin as well. Whenever he sets anything up, he goes through all of those emails, make sure he's receiving them, that the links work in those emails. And you need to be doing this as part of your business. So just take that on board as well, because we have this all the time. This can really save you so much time, guys. It saves you going on the Facebook group. If you haven't got a question, if you've got a question and you can't find the answer, then obviously post the question. But you can self-help yourself quite a lot.
And this isn't a Zenler specific thing. this is something that you should, it's a mindset thing that you should do with everything you do. So, for example, if you're writing a proposal for a contract and you've got to email it over, right? Send it to yourself first, just to see if when that person receives it, does it look good? Does everything work? Have I made a mess up on one of the links? Because once you've sent it, you can't unsend it. So everything we do digitally is worth just testing it out, double checking, because in a bigger company, you'd have other people that would test your stuff for you, right? The tech people, they put stuff through to the education team to test sometimes new stuff before it goes live. And we find the bugs and we report them back before you lot find them. Now, if it's just you, you don't have someone to do that. So you have to do it yourself. And it's not, as I say, it's not just Zenler, it's whatever software you do. The amount of people that don't know how Zoom works. And somebody the other day was saying, "Oh, can I?" In one of the Q questions that came up in Facebook, can I have breakout rooms in a webinar? Well, have you set a webinar up and tried to create a breakout room? It's a really easy fix, right? Because you don't have to go live with hundreds of people. Just set it up for yourself. Go in, go live. Has it got a webinar room in there? A breakout room? Yes or no? And that's just another good example of how you can just do stuff yourself really easily.
Yeah, and that was in today. That question came in today, so that's very current. We got a lot of people already saying that they've had the email one before, where they've looked and they found a different email address. The email address doesn't tie up. The amount of times that people put Gmail wrong, it's amazing. It amazes me. And they don't get the message. But also remember that people's mailboxes might be full, so they might say that I haven't received you, and it's their end because they've got a certain quota for their mailbox and they've exceeded it. So every mail they're getting is bouncing out. Maybe that person's been blacklisted as well. So all these things are on top. But one thing's for sure, like if something major's gone wrong with your site, and no one else is putting a comment or going crazy on the Facebook group, you can guarantee it's just you. Okay, that's one thing for sure. So it's a lot of questions coming. Has anyone else got this issue? And then it's like deadly silence because they haven't. Because if it was such a major issue, then everyone would go ballistic on the Facebook group. So it's really good. Oenka said the same thing on here. She tests things going through, and it takes so little time. We've done lots of workshops, haven't we, Kevin, on testing as a student and testing in Incognito. So it's quite simple to do.
So we've been setting little tasks for people to do after every workshop. And when I came into this workshop, David said, "Oh, we're giving them anything to do." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not really sure. I don't know what can they do on this. But I've come up with something for you to do, which I think is going to be really quite different. And I bet most of you have not done this yet. Now think about it like this. So you're a user of the Zenler platform and you come to us for help. Who do your students go to for help? Do you go through with them a checklist, or do you have available a self-help checklist for them when they can't access your course? So your task is, excuse me, to set up somewhere, somehow, something. It could be a page that you set up. It could just be an email. It could be a download. It could be maybe even a little mini course with a couple of things in it. Set something up that when people are struggling with something, to go through some of the basic self-help stuff that they can do to solve their problem. Things like we've just shown you. Use us as an example. So go through on the support docs, go through to raising a ticket and then go try this first. Go through that, because if you're having that problem, they might have that problem. Make sure you're in a Chrome browser. Make sure you clear the cache. Make sure you're in Incognito. Try and log in and set up a very basic help area for your students. That's my task for you to do. And that's really easy. You haven't got to get detailed in it. You haven't got to get all wildly over the top with it. Just some very, very basic things. Because I bet
simple.
you've got students that have come up to you and said, I can't log into this, I can't find this, and literally all it is they've got a massively overused browser that's got all stuff crashing everywhere, and they can't get into it because of that. And if they just went into a brand new browser window that's an incognito one, it would probably solve all their problems. Yeah, you don't want to be having those conversations. And I guarantee the more students you get come in, the more frequent this question will come up.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one, Kevin. You know, and guys, think about like you can get really sophisticated with this, right? You could do a video of it, you could build it, but you could start this. I think what Kevin said to you here is a really good starting base. So you can build this as you go through, and you can put a menu item going to a page. You could put that in the footer if you wanted to, if you didn't want to be so dominant at the top. That way, if it's in the footer, you could tell people to go to footer, or you could send them to the page URL. And you could use something like an FAQ block. So you could easily create an FAQ block in there and put those things in there. So you title it, you create your page, and I'm about to share now. And you go in here, you grab a row. You can go into the blocks here. And if you go to the blocks, you're going to see FAQ blocks here. And you could dump an FAQ block in there, and then you could put your common questions. So did not receive email, for instance, and then you could put the answer here. And you could also put a support in here as well. That way, you've now got a page that you could send people to so they can open this up. So if I preview this page now, I need to save it first. And obviously make sure you SEO as well. That's really important, SEO. Okay, so I'm not going to in this case because I'm just showing you, but you've got FAQ block in there. People can go, oh, I did not receive the email. What happened there? So then you can find the answer in there. So you could do it as an FAQ block. You could even put a video up the top. So this could be really good for you guys. Create that page and then add it into the footer. So you've got your page. So there's my page URL there. So I grab that URL, copy it, and then I add that into maybe the footer block. Okay. So I can go down to the footer block there. I can click there. I can go into here, and then I can add a new one here. I'm just showing you the full steps. Let's put help, and then I could go visible to all, action, go to link, drop that link that I copied there, open it in a new tab if you don't want to lose them on the main page. Click save, and you're going to see that that will come up at the bottom there. You see it says help. So I could save that now, and we could preview that, and then you've created that page. So when you create that page, take a screenshot of it and post it on our Facebook group. So there it is there. So now I've got a help page that I did within less than sort of a minute there. So put the content in there, frequently asked questions, build on it. So you get a new question coming from your users because they're lost. You then can build on that. You can add that on there going forwards, and then that'll build into a really nice page for you to help your users out. So you can use videos, you can use FAQ blocks, however you want to do it. It'll look very cool. That's a nice bit of homework there, Kevin.
Yeah, and just use what we've done at Zenler on the support docs page as your starting point. If you're thinking, where do I start? Just do it. Just do those bits to start with. It's just copy and paste it. Just make it really simple for yourselves. And I know somebody said Ellie said that she's done an onboarding, but often that's when they're already in the site and they're already in the course, and then you're showing them around stuff. This would be more for the homepage logged out if they're having a problem getting in. You might want to put a link in there for getting the password reset, stuff like that. How do I reset my password to get in? Those sorts of things, really basic stuff. So yeah.
I like that though. I like Ellie's done an onboarding video. I think that's really quite cool.
Yeah, onboardings are always good, but remember they only get the onboarding when they're logged in. What if they can't log in? So yeah, onboarding's massive, completely different thing, but really good good thing. But this is about having it on the home page, having it when they're logged out. It's the help thing. I'm stuck. I can't get in. I'm not seeing what I should be seeing. What do I do? And it's the basics of all of the stuff we've talked about. Yeah, cool. Right, I'm going to open up the cameras for everybody, so you can all jump in. If you've got any questions, you can ask away. Start video. Yeah, you can start video. I think you can do most things there. There we go. Right, hopefully that was helpful today. Owenka, you got a question?
Yeah, just a quick one. You might have covered it, but I did jump in a bit late. Can you just explain, office hours?
Yeah.
What is that? How does that work? And is that sometimes if I've got a particular issue with my stuff, if I jump onto that, can I ask questions that are related to my business and my site?
Yeah, of course you can.
So what can you tell me what it is that it goes into my brain? Because I just don't.
So office hours is
get
really simple. So office hours, we run it every single week. It's sort of like a touch point for people that they know it's going to be there every week, right? So it has two purposes. One, it will show them where they can get a type of support from. So we cover a lot of this stuff, but in micro segments. The second part of it is we'll do like an over the shoulder of one of the areas within Zenler. So we might show you how to put the Dunning email on and edit it, okay, and things like that. So they're quite quick things that people just might not know that's where it exists and that's what it does. And then we do the open questions bit, okay. Now, if it's a really long, convoluted question, you're probably better off going into the live support desk, right, and getting on there with Memi where she's got more time to go through it. If it's just a general question, then just come in and ask. Yeah.
What's the live support desk then? Is that separate then? So tell me about
Yes.
that one.
Right. Okay. So the live support desk is run every Thursday at 4 p.m. GMT. Okay. Every single Thursday. If you go into the Facebook event area in the Zenler group, you'll see them all listed down there. Every single week, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. So Memi sits there and her only job is to answer your questions when you come in. And they can be anything that you want, right? Anything to do with Zenler, where if it's especially about your own stuff as well, right? I'm trying to do this, I'm setting this up. How do I do it? What am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? Now, hopefully she'll have the answer. If she doesn't have the answer, she'll point you to the training that you need to go through to give you the answer. And if we can't find a training that will give you the answer, we'll put it into the education team and we'll do a specific video on it. So at some point you will get a definite answer, right? It might not just be right there and then because there's so many variations of what people are doing with Zenler that, and as it grows, one person can't know everything, right? It's really hard. So, and sometimes your head isn't quite connecting the dots. Yeah. So you have to sort of go away and go, right, I need to think about that and I need to come back. And then you come back and then you do a video. And then this is what I was talking about with bringing back the new version of Zen pop-ups. So if we can't answer it, we'll probably do that and then tag you in it and go, right, that's the answer to your question. Right.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but
Finally.
Memi is there every single week, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. on a Thursday. And literally, she just sits there and waits for people to pop up and go, I've got a question. How can I do this? What's going wrong here? Can you help me with that? The only thing we won't let you do is share your screen. Specifically, if there's client data in there or list data or emails or stuff like that, because that becomes that's not
GDPR
appropriate
issue.
to do. And we tend to say you can't share your screen at all because people make mistakes and they'll start off by being on one screen and they go, oh, let me just find that other screen. And before you know it, they've shared 50,000 email addresses on the screen and someone's took a screenshot of it, right? So we just, to protect everybody, we just say, look, don't screen share. We'll screen share because we have test environments that don't have, like David did earlier, there's no data there that's worth anything, right? It's just our nonsense data. So we're okay doing that. But with all of you lot, we don't want you to compromise yourself or potentially compromise yourself by accidentally sharing something you shouldn't to a group of 9,000 people plus. And you don't know, it might be there might be a data protection agent in there. There might be one of your customers in there that takes offence to it. You just don't need the grief. So you've got to get good at explaining what you want.
Yeah, I think that brings us on to another thing as well. It's like that's something that comes up quite a lot in the Facebook group. People aren't specific enough when they ask a question. So I've had this a lot of times. I've given quite an in-depth. I've even done videos only to be told, "Oh no, I meant something else." When it's really frustrating. It's like, well, this will help someone else out, but it's not in the right context. So specifics are really important. Like, what type of live are you running? You know, what have you done? You know, are you running a one-to-one? Is it an interactive webinar? These kind of things. Like, are you using the right terminology? You're not using the word course. You're using product. Are you meaning? Are you meaning? And then they mean bundle. So you've got to be really specific with the questions you're asking, and it's I think that's a really big one as well, because that happens quite a lot, and it's just frustrating because I understand a lot of people don't know the right terminology to use for the platform, but being specific about it, we can work it out and read between the lines. So yeah, I think live support desk is priceless. Kevin is kind of unofficial live support with office hours, but he's very focused on what he's doing in that session. So I guess like Kevin likes, if Kevin's talking about email broadcast, then you could ask him a question on that. But outside of that remit, really hasn't got the time to answer those questions, and that's why we have the live support desk. So Mammy sits there for hours, waiting for people to ask her the most difficult of questions.
Yeah, she needs to be tested, otherwise she'll fall asleep.
I'm going to go in there one day in incognito.
Looks like she could become my best mate then, eh, David?
I think
Oh, you're dropping me, are you, Anchor? That's nice.
the thing is with a lot of the
I won't
support,
drop you.
the interesting thing with a lot of the support questions is people tend to really overcomplicate what they think they need to do. And I've seen this in so many workshops where people have come in and they reel off this whole list of stuff that they want to do to achieve one thing. And you go, well, why do you need to do that? I don't know. I just think I do. And actually, you could probably cut out a lot of things and simplify your life and achieve the same thing. But we sort of get caught up in, if we make it difficult for ourselves, it must be worth more. And I don't know why we do that as human beings. I think we do that. Whereas actually, if we just simplify things, it's much more enjoyable and we get the same result anyway.
Yeah, I think it's this, and also it's a good reason to give up, isn't it? It's like, oh, I've got this. I can't work on all this. Is a really good reason to sort of give up. It happens a lot. If you keep it simple and you start, and just like Kevin was saying earlier, you do that page, that help page, and keep it simple. As you get questions coming and people are having problems with certain areas of your site, add to it and build on it. And that's exactly the same for courses and everything. You can add and build onto it. You don't need to have quizzes and surveys and everything that Zenler has to offer straight away. The other thing is people bring a lot of stuff across. So a lot of people have come from other platforms where they've needed to use things like Active Campaign, where they've needed to use things like ClickFunnels, and they brought all this stuff across with them when they could get rid of it all and just use Zenler. A classic example would be Eddie Andreas, who was using this German platform and needed all of these integrations. And when he come across to Zenler, he realized that he didn't need any of that. He could just use what Zenler had to offer him, and it was enough for him. So these are other things as well, why people bring things across when they don't need them. But that, of course, is understanding the platform as well. And that's what we're here for.
I agree. Right, have we got any more questions? Anybody else got anything they want to add? Are we all good? Anything else we need to
Are you all good
cover?
with the homework? Who's going to do the homework? Remember, all of you that do that, Ellie will do the homework, Barbara will do the homework, Sarah will.
I think it'll be a really nice.
So,
I have a
Marcel
lot of
will.
old homework I still need to do. All the other ones, I have only done one.
Yeah, I think this one's a really easy one to do because you can literally just copy what we've got, what we've already written. Just add those bits in. Just copy them. Right, that literally, David just showed you within 2 minutes he'd created that page. You can literally do that in 10 minutes. It's a 15-minute top whack to do that. It's a really, really easy one. And just put it onto the footer of your homepage, logged out. Job done. I'm waving to whoever's in your background, Ellie.
That's my daughter.
Hello, Ellie's daughter. Oh, she's run off now.
No, there she is.
Yeah, so this is a really easy one to do, and the thing is, this is a quality of life for the future. So when you do get more students come in and they're asking these silly questions, you haven't got to deal with them one to one. You can just say, "Look, we've got a little help section. Have you been through that first?" Yeah, and that just makes your life a little bit easier.
Fantastic. There's no questions on the Facebook group, so that's good.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll wrap up then. Our next session is on Thursday, so the whole team will be here Thursday. I challenge you to bring all of your questions regarding anything to do with the Zenler platform on Thursday. So there's not going to be an official training as such. There'll be a little thing that I go through first, but apart from that, it's going to be an open question for you. If you want to pre-prepare them, that would be really, really good. There's been still lots of questions around the community feature. There's going to be a new release coming out quite soon. David and I know what that is, but we're not at liberty to say that right now. It's another little nice upgrade coming in. So that may or may not be out by then. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But yeah, ask your questions on Thursday. Rakesh will be here. I think Mamie will be here. I'll be here. I think David will be here. And just ask away. If you want to stretch the capabilities of what Zenler as a platform can do and ask if stuff is possible or not, that's always a good one because sometimes we have an idea in our head of our goal of, I want to achieve this, but I'm not quite sure, can the platform deliver that for me or not? Sometimes it's a bit like the marketing funnels one that we went through was a really good example of that in session 7, where you look at the marketing funnels and it's marketing funnels 1, 2, or 1, thank you, deliver, right? And that was it with a couple of emails. When you go through that past into the second part of that training and you look at the possibilities of what you can do with a marketing funnel, actually there's so much more. So, but we don't necessarily show you those steps in the basic setup. That's down to you having the understanding of what it's capable of doing. So maybe think about that. Is there something that you would like to achieve within the Zenler platform and you're not quite sure what steps to take to achieve it? And if we can work that out, challenge us on that. And I'm sure we can probably come up with some form of plan for you, some easy step process to say, if you do this, 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 and this, that will give you that result. How does that sound?
How are we gonna how should we deliver that? Should we put a post into the Facebook group for people to add their questions so we're pre-prepped?
No, I don't want them to add their, well, we'll pre-warn them that they can come in and ask them on Thursday. I don't want them putting questions on a Facebook post.
Okay.
Because otherwise they just won't come in and they won't ask them. They'll just expect us to read them out and they probably won't even turn up.
All right. No prep then. We're just going live. Anything can happen.
We're gonna fly by the seat of our pants, right? And we're gonna rough ride it and all that, and we're just gonna go for it. And it could be an absolute car crash, or it could be the best thing ever, or probably a combination of both. But we shall see. But it will be good. I mean, the thing is, a lot of the functionality of the platform hasn't really changed. There's been bits added onto it, but there's a lot you can do in there, and it's just about expanding your mind past the restrictions of the way it's set up currently. And if we can help you do that to achieve, then that's a good thing, right? Oh, we've got a question in from Sarah. How are you, Sarah? You all right?
Hi, yeah, I'm okay. Thanks, Kevin.
Good.
I think we're gonna miss seeing you and David once this finishes. So
I
my
will be
question,
back. Don't worry.
okay. I can't see on the chat whether my question got answered, but that's where you can book support a demo. Is that something that can be used if you're stuck on something? It
Not the
wasn't
demo.
clear.
No,
Yeah,
so
under support. Yeah.
no. So if you're stuck on something, there's a couple of things that you can do. The first thing you can do is come into the live support desk on a Thursday with Mamie and talk to a human being, right? She will be there live and you can ask her during those 2 hours. That's probably the most direct and easiest way and quickest way to get a reply. The second way you can do it is go into the Facebook post and put a post up and say, I want to do this. Can somebody help me? How can I do that? Now, you will get answers from everybody in the community that way, okay? And it might not be immediate. So it might take a little while to get the answers come in. All right?
Okay.
So really, they're the two direct ways that you can get an answer to anything you're stuck with. All right?
Okay.
What I
Brilliant.
will say, and I'll be really clear about it, is please don't private message me or David or Rakesh or Mamie on Facebook because we won't answer it. I definitely won't. David started doing that a couple of years ago. It was quite funny, and then he said to me after 6 months, I so regret letting him do that because he got inundated with messages on Facebook. And I said, mate, I just don't answer any of them, so they can do what they like, but I'm not replying.
I do sometimes. I mean, I ask people to private message me. Right. Okay. So like there are situations where I know it's an educational based question. I know I've got to be in the platform with them. I know that I can't do any of the screen sharing because it's going to be private information in there. So there are some circumstances when I know that it's pointless them going to technical support. But I try to limit it. I'm very clear. Enka knows I'm very clear about my lines to be drawn, you know.
Yeah.
So of course, yeah. Sarah, like post on the Facebook group. We always answer you on there. If it's a hard question to answer as a message, we will do a video. I think Kevin hinted at that before, that we'll do more videos going on there as kind of the Zen pop-ups, which we used to do, like answering quite a lot of different people's questions, and we tag people in with timestamps. So we want to get back to doing that. That's something Kevin's heading up more now as well. So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, so hopefully that helps you out with that. But yeah, I mean there are people around all week. So, but if it's not a Thursday, if it's Friday and you're sitting there going, oh, I'm stuck on this, don't wait until Thursday. Just put a post up. You know, we rarely decline posts. They normally go in. There's not really a massive criteria for declining posts, is there? Most of them go in that are quite sensible, so we just normally authorize a lot of them. So, and if people don't understand fully what it is you're asking, they'll just start having a conversation with you on there. But hopefully that'll get you through until the next opportunity. And of course, you can ask in office hours. So if you can see office hours running that day, jump on there and ask me there. So there's three things each week that you can do that can get you an answer.
I'm sorry. I know you did cover it earlier, but I wasn't
Paying attention.
in office hours. The office hours. I thought I think it was Alenka or Ellie asked what is office hours. I thought you were just going to talk about what hours you're open, but it sounds
No.
like it wasn't that. So sorry. Can you repeat that?
So office hours we've stolen from America because America like to nick everything else. So we're nicking that off of them. Sorry, my American friends. But Canada. But yeah, so office hours is where we literally open the door for half an hour a week where I'm there. I'll go through a little bit of, look, this is where you can get some support if you're stuck. Might go through the YouTube channel. I had a little series of going through the Instagram channel that we've got. just showing you some of the stuff that we do on there. Just a bit of awareness really about stuff like that. And then we do a little bit of an over the shoulder. So I'll pick something. So last week we looked at quizzes based on the workshop. I think we needed to just reiterate quizzes a little bit more as to how the AI works and all of that. So they're like sort of really, really quick things like that. And then if people want to come in and ask stuff, you can ask stuff, right? That's absolutely fine. So that's
when is it and how do you get on it?
so it's you lot need to really pay attention to the Facebook group events area, right? All of the lives that we do, we create an event for, right?
Does that include the Thursday support?
Yeah, that's in there, I believe.
Because that came up on an email at the beginning about, I think you were changing it, and I thought I was going to get an email link. I didn't realise it was a separate.
You should get an email as well.
But do I have to register to?
No, you don't need to register for it. All of the lives that we do as a team are always put in the Facebook events area for the new Zenler Facebook. And the reason we do it is because we work in GMT. Lots of people don't. And when you look in Facebook, it will convert it to your time.
Oh, okay. Well, it's fine.
Otherwise, we have to say, because we had a whole thing, we must have talked for hours about on a workshop, how many different time zones do we put on the workshop? And we were up to GMT, ET, EST, ESPN, whatever, I don't even know. There was hundreds of them, right? And it just got ridiculous. So we said, okay, well, we'll put the World Time Buddy clock on, which is what we've got on the funnel page now, right? So people can look at it in their time. But then we thought, actually, Facebook does this for us because you log in your time zone and it will convert it automatically. We've just got to put our time in and it will tell you what time that is your time. So we now, all of our live events, workshops, office hours, live support desk, everything that we do, the exclusion will be the new Zen pop-ups, which are literally, we just go live, do it and done. Right, so they're not scheduled. Everything else that's planned will be in there.
What's the difference between office hours and live support?
Well, live support runs for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Its only purpose is to answer your question.
Okay.
That's its only purpose.
Right. And that's on Thursday at 4. But office hours is when?
Well, office hours changes each week. We used to have a set day and time for it, but then we decided actually we need to move it around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so to make it clear, Sarah, office hours is basically a roundup of what's going on, things to look at based off questions that are coming in, right? You can ask questions in there, of course, but it's the live support desk where you ask questions, or the Facebook group will be your first places. If you want to see any events that are going on, you go to our Facebook group, you click the events and you'll see them. Now, office hours changes days. It's run once a week by Kevin, but he changes the days for different time zones. So it's not set in there all the time, but live support desk is. So that's where, if you need it urgent, say you say it was Friday and then you'd have to wait for till Thursday the next week, you can put a question into the Facebook group and we'll get on, but like you have been, Sarah, and then we answer you in there. So that's a good way of doing it.
Okay, got it. And the pop-up events are just as and when there seem to be something, a general interest, you just decide to do it and it will just pop up.
The pop-ups will be for specific questions. So if we see a question come into the group and we think, actually, we haven't really covered that, or we could answer that maybe a bit differently, we'll then put, or it hasn't been fully answered, then we'll just do a quick live. It might be a pre-recorded video, it might be a live video, and we just literally put it in there. We don't need feedback. Nobody comes on and talks to us. Our only goal is to answer that one thing, and then we'll just tag the person in it that asked the question.
And it'll be recorded?
It might be recorded or it might be live. It depends on the nature of the question. So,
Okay.
for example, if they're asking about a lot of live stuff, like how we're using live webinars and all, it's really hard to do a live and then show the live webinar setup stuff because you're live. So you have to sort of pre-record it to show it. So there's some things we can't do live, but where we can, we'll try and do it live.
But if I asked you a question, you decide to do it live, but I wasn't online, you would
Yep.
have to record it, wouldn't you? Else I won't see it.
But again, it gets kept in Facebook anyway.
Does it? Okay. I don't really use Facebook for that kind of thing. So I
Yeah,
would have
it gets
gone to
kept
your
in Facebook.
YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it will end up going into the YouTube channel as well because Facebook are deleting all the lives out.
Yeah.
So we'll end up if they're pretty good, then we'll just move them onto the YouTube channel where they don't delete our lives out.
And do you put hashtags or SEA words or something, SEO words on there, so that's how Google finds them?
On the YouTube channel.
Well, yeah, or any of it. If you do a pop-up, you obviously it becomes part of your collateral, doesn't it? Your support
Yeah.
collateral. How does Google find it?
Well, in the
I'm just
Facebook group, they
interested.
don't because
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg hates Google. So you never get to see anything outside of Facebook.
Right.
But on YouTube, yes, of course, we optimize it and we get it found by using exactly that hashtags, decent description, you know, and all of that stuff. So we optimize that for search.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Which we have a course
So-
on. Go on the tutorial site, find the YouTube challenge, take that, and it will tell you about how to optimize your videos for YouTube.
In the support area tutorial. Okay, brilliant.
Tutorial site.
Gosh, I'm learning so much.
Yeah, just go to the
I'll keep up
tutorial
with it.
site. Everything you need to find, you can get directed by the tutorial site. So all you
Yeah,
have to
okay.
remember is the tutorial site, because everything else links out from there. All the
Okay.
YouTube does, all of it does. It all links out from there. That's the hub of everything.
And I just remember I got another question. Can I ask it now?
Go on
It's
then.
about the app. I've got the new Zenler app. When I open it, I've got videos from the person Katie, who's the yogi helper that does support on New Zenler. I don't understand what's the app for. Who's it for? I don't get it.
Who's the app for?
Yeah.
So if you have a student that signs up to your Zenler school, they can download the app and watch the lessons and read the lessons and all of that in the app. If you've got a community, they can go on there and open and get involved in the community via the app.
How does the app know who that
Because they
person
log
is
in.
linked to?
Because they log in.
Oh, I see. So it's the same. Oh, okay. Right.
And when you log in, you'll see. So say for example, I've bought a course from you, a course from David, and a course from Barbara, right? And I've used the same email address and login details for all three, right? Because that's what I've done. When I log into the app, it will list all three down,
Oh,
right? And you can just switch between them.
it's really good, isn't it? Because then it looks like I've built an app.
It's just convenient for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rather than I don't know, joining a webinar on a browser on a phone. Is that right? Could they join one of my webinars via the Zenler app?
Yeah, they can. They can watch what you're doing on there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I would say it's on, I think it's version 2 at the moment. But
Yeah.
it's going to be improved as time, like everything that Zenler does, it will improve over time. So, but at the moment, you know, it's just worthwhile. The more we can get them to get involved in what we're doing online, the better it is, because the longer they'll stay and they'll learn. Right. So if somebody wants to come in via the app, then say this is where you can get the app from.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. No further questions.
No problem. Right, I'm going to wrap up then. So thank you everyone for coming along. So we're back on Thursday at 1 p.m. That's going to be our last session on this workshop, but never fear, we're already working on the next workshop. So there will be another one coming out very, very soon. We'll start talking about that next week. So we're already working on that because we're determined during the course of 2025 that the more we can go through and help people via our workshops, the better it's going to be for everyone. So we're doing a lot this year on that front. Last year it was a little bit erratic. We had one and then we might leave it 6 weeks and then do another one.
Erratic? They weren't erratic. We had 2 a month.
Whatever. This year there's going to be much more consistency in it. So they're going to
Yeah.
sort of flow into each other is the goal behind this. Make it a much smoother experience.
Yeah, and keep it on platform as well. So there's more helping you firsthand. In a way, it was erratic with the fact we were covering lots of different things that weren't that help you, but weren't platform. So it was like marketing using things like OBS and all this sort of stuff. But we want to get it back on track. And that's why Kevin's heading it up this year and putting all the plan in place for that. It's good.
Yeah. Scott said you was a slacker last year, David. His words, not mine.
You wait, Scott, till I meet you.
Yeah, you'll find out he's like 6'8" and built like Andre the Giant.
Just a very quick one. I was at a face-to-face session at the weekend with a load of people in my coaching group, and there was a person who's just started, had Zenler for a long time, but hadn't done anything with it, and she's been attending these courses, and just to see her face light up, she's like, I understand it a lot more. I mean, I can't do everything, but it's really, really good. I really understand it. So I just want to say thank you, because English is not necessarily her first language, but she has just loved what you've been doing. So I just wanted to give you that feedback.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's really nice when we hear things like that, or we see the post go up where someone's just had that little moment of something's got a little bit easier for them. It's really nice. And, I really do understand that sometimes the tech side of this can seem a tad overwhelming. So we do try and keep it at a level where everybody can keep up and feel comfortable and capable. And I think that's really important, that we keep that focus on that. And sometimes it means going back over the basics that we've been over before, but you never quite know in a workshop who's there for the first day and who's been there for like 10,000 days. Like you never know at what level people are. So we try and make it really inclusive for everybody. And I think this one's been a really good one for that, where a lot of new people have come into these workshops, and they've really engaged with it and understood it a lot more, which is really, really good. Because if you start to understand it, then you'll use it more. You use it more, you get more students, you earn more money, right? It's a really simple process, or I make it sound really simple. I don't know which one it is, but so no, appreciate the feedback. But listen, let's wrap up now for good. So thank you everyone for attending. We're not done yet, so remember as well, for all of you that have been engaging with the tasks that we've set, we are doing our prize draw on Thursday live. So the list is quite long. You can have multiple entries if you've done multiple tasks. So do get involved in that. The cut-off for your task to be entered into the draw is Wednesday, midday, GMT. There will be no extensions, because we have to put all of these names into one of these spinny wheel things. Well, I don't, but somebody below me does on the screen, David. So we've got to have a cut off, right? So that's what the cut off is. But ultimately put the swag bit aside, just doing this stuff, even if you can't meet that deadline, just get it done anyway, because it's going to be good for you. So, but we're giving away some swag. We'll determine what the prizes are going to be. We'll let you know on Thursday when we do the draw. I'm not going to tell you when it is, so you've got to turn up at 1 o'clock and stay for however long it is that we're there. We might do it at the beginning, we might do it at the end. I'm not really sure yet, but it will be a live draw. So Wednesday midday GMT is your deadline for your task or tasks. So remember to put them in the Facebook group so we know that they're done. It's quite a long list of people so far, actually, which is really encouraging. So get them
Very
done.
long.
The whole team will be there Thursday, so that'll be quite exciting. And it's going to be a full open Q&A. Ask what you want. I'll put a post up tomorrow just to remind people to bring their really interesting questions. And we're not going to pre-prep for it either. We're going to do it on the fly if we can, and if not, it will give us a good idea to work it out and then maybe kickstart the Zen pop-up program if there are questions we can't actually answer there and then, which some of them might take a bit of thought. So that's what we're up to. So thanks everyone. That's it. We're done for today. It's been absolutely awesome as always. Appreciate you all. Here and on Facebook, and myself, David, the rest of the team, we will see you on Thursday live at 1 p.m. GMT. See you there.
See you later, guys.